What's up, guys? I'm gonna skip the introduction and I'm just gonna jump right into it. Some time ago last year, I got a ticket, and the type of ticket that I got, I basically had to get my car towed. So my car got impounded, and the guy wrote me a ticket. So basically, I got my car back, and I spoke with the lady or whatever. Not the lady at the towing place, but the lady like at the municipal court or wherever I had to go. I was like, is everything good? Like, do I have to pay anything? Do I need to do anything else? Like, I got my car back, and she was like, no. Anytime you get a ticket, you are allowed to fight the ticket and you can go to court for it. So I didn't go to court for the ticket because I'm like, okay, this lady just told me that everything is cool. And I mean, I have my car back. So what is even the point of me like bothering these people? And I didn't show up to court. So once you miss your court date, you have 30 days after that to get another court date. So I still didn't go to court, and I didn't get those letters in the mail because I had just moved from my aunt's house. So like when they were sending all of this stuff, like it was going to her and I had no knowledge of it. One day, I am literally at work and my aunt's boyfriend texts me and he's like, you have a warrant out for your arrest. And I was like, what? Arrest? What the hell did I do? Then he sends me like this, all of these picture messages of like these letters the court had been sending me. So basically I was getting a warrant for my arrest because I had failed to appear in court. In the state of Georgia, if you fail to appear, you get a warrant and you are going to jail. Like, you're going to jail. Period. At this point, I am just fucking shook. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, fuck, I have this warrant out for my arrest. Like, all I can do is basically go home. The following day, I call the warrant office. Like, I'm on the way to work and I'm just like talking with them. I'm like, hey, like, I'm calling to see like if there's a warrant out for my arrest. And so I spoke with the lady and she was like, you don't have a warrant just yet, but they have filed the paperwork. And she was like, anytime today the judge can sign off on it, and you don't need to be driving at that point. I was telling her, I was like, girl, like, I really didn't know, like, I didn't know that I owed anything. Like, I didn't know I need to go to court and all of that. And she was like, boy, is this your first ticket ever in life? Like, why did you ever think that you couldn't? But I'm just thinking to myself, like, if y'all gave me, and I told her, I said, if y'all gave me my car back, then I felt like everything was good. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do now? And she was like, just go to walk-in court and you can talk with the judge and see what he thinks. And I was like, girl, do you think I'm gonna go to jail though? And she was like, it's a toss-up. She was like, he can either send you to jail or you're just gonna have to pay a fine. So at this point, I'm like, okay. So then I start looking up like the type of ticket and like the failure to appear. And basically it was like, bitch, you going to jail. There was no good outcome in any of this. So at this point, I'm just freaking the fuck out. And it's Thursday. So I'm like, okay, I just have one more day until the weekend to like even try to fix this. So I called a lawyer and he basically told me, he was like, for $300, I can get it out of failure to appear. And he was like, since I also found out that since it was my first ticket, I was eligible for a program where you just go to the program and they kind of like throw the ticket out, but you pay a fine. It's like a lesser fine of whatever. He was like, I can get it out of failure to appear, but basically everything else you just kind of own. So then he told me, he was like, if they give you a fine, then you're gonna have to like pay down on the fine or pay the whole thing off. And he was like, if you don't pay the whole thing off, they're gonna put you on probation until you do. So I'm like, what is that? Like, none of these situations are favorable outcomes. Like, I'm either gonna have to go to jail, or I'm gonna have to go to jail and pay a fine, or I'm gonna have to go to probation. Who wants to be on probation? Like, that's nothing that you want on your record. I'm like Googling, like, how long do y'all think I'll be in jail? Like, I'm just trying to figure it out because at this point, I'm just like, I can't give y'all $1,000. Like, my rent is literally due Friday. So I called the program, it's called PTIT, and I called the PTIT office, and she was just basically like, you're just gonna have to come down here and see if we can help you or not. She was like, honestly, I don't know. I was like, well, girl, if I go down there and they sign the warrant, I'm gonna go to jail. And she was like, well, if they see that you're trying to handle your business. I said, oh, girl, no. I still ended up going when I got off work because I got off work early that day. And I just ran down there. So I'm running down to the courthouse. Like, I had on like a jacket and a hoodie. Like, I'm going incognito. Like, people know what I fucking look like. So I go to the office or whatever. And she was like, no, I can't help you, basically. Not until she was like, if I can't help you, then you need to go get another court date. So basically, like, since it was PTIT eligible, that's really what kind of saved me. So I was allowed to go get another court date. The lady was like, you can either go into walk-in court tomorrow or you can schedule a court date 2 weeks out from now. And I'm like, girl, I don't even know if I have 2 weeks. Like, these people have probably just signed this warrant and I gotta get up out of here. So I called them or whatever, and I was like, you know, I'm trying to get a court date set up. So are y'all just gonna like hold off on the warrant until I go to court? And the lady was like, no. The warrant is gonna be out all the way until you go to court and they figure it out. So at this point, I go to the court on Friday. I go into walk-in court, like I have my little cute outfit on, like I have everything that I need. I'm sitting in like the little room that you go to before you actually go to court or whatever, and the guy's just basically like breaking down everything that you can go to court for, what you can't go for. Like he was like, if your ticket is PTIT eligible, you can try to talk with them. So I'm like, okay. So I go up to him and he was like, yeah, your ticket is PTIT eligible. He was like, but the likelihood of like it getting any better is kind of slim to none. But I felt like he was just trying to like F with my mind and like make me go to the court. So I'm like, okay, like this is when like my common sense kicks in and I'm like, bitch, you just try to fight this shit from every angle that you can. And if PTIT is one of the ways where you can kind of get this like deduced, then you need to do that. And going to jail is not an option, and being on probation is not an option. Like you just, you know, like you're on your own now. So I'm just like feeling really depressed because like at this time that I was going through this, like there was so much other stuff going on in my life and I was just having like a lot of troubles. I go to PTIT and the lady, like she looks at my citation or whatever and she was like, yeah, we can accept it, but if you do this through us, you're basically gonna have to pay $1,000 fine. You're gonna have to do like 8 hours of community service, and you're gonna have to sit in a 2-hour driving course. I was like, girl, I might as well go to jail. I was like, how long am I gonna be in there for? A week? Because if I am, I would just take off work and go to jail and come out and go right back to work like nothing happened. And she started laughing at me. I was like, girl, I'm dead ass serious. Like, y'all are gonna give me 45 days to pay $1,000. That's like impossible. So at the time I had half of it, but I'm like, even 45 days to get that much money is just really gonna put me in a stretch. Like, I still have to pay rent. So she told me, she was like, you know, just go down there and speak with them again and see like if they can help you, like what are your other options. So I went back down there and I spoke with another lady. I guess she was like a solicitor or whatever, and I guess they like kind of give you like a little bit of legal advice or like what your options are before you go to court. So I went to the lady and I told her what was happening or whatever, and she looked at my citation and then she looked at me and she was like, what happened, girl? I was like, so I told her the story of what happened and she was like, yeah. So what he wrote you a ticket for is honestly the wrong thing. So she was like, so I'm just going to handle that. And I went back to the PTIT lady and she checked my citation again and then they changed it. So I go to the PTIT lady and she was like, all right, that's so much better. She was like, so now you just have to pay X amount. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And then she was like, and you need to get your license reinstated. And I was like, reinstated? So I had to go and do that. Like, I had so much to do. But I did meet somebody super cute in the PTIT room. I know, like, we're both in court for traffic violations. Like, why are you even doing that? But he was so cute. And, I mean, it was his first ticket, too. Like, that's kind of, like, how we were bonding. Because we were, like, in the courtroom together or whatever. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, whatever, and we just started talking, but that lasted for like a week. He had way too much going on for me. Anyway, I just thought that I would share that story with you guys because it really like changed my outlook on life, and I kind of became a little more excited about my freedom. Like, I didn't understand like how fragile that is, and especially being like a Black man, like there's no let up in that. But all of that is behind me. I'm like a safe driver now. Yeah, I had to get that story like off of my chest because I haven't told anyone. And you know, sometimes you can't keep stuff bottled up, especially stuff like that. Like, that is so serious, and I just needed like to vent. But that's all that I have for you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk with you guys later. Bye.